Hey, Natasha here. In this video, we are going to discuss the top 3 reasons your calendar isn't working for you and how to fix it. So, in my entrepreneurial journey, I found myself in this trap countless times where I had more work than time in a day. So, my work essentially blew up my calendar and it blew up my life. And I was doing nothing but working. And essentially what we have to do sometimes is completely start over, reset, because ultimately your calendar is meant to hold your entire life, not just your work. So I want you to ask yourself, did you start your business or your practice to live to work or work to live? So the first thing I want you to do is just scrap anything that you're already doing for your calendar. Because if you truly feel like nothing is working at all or well, or you also may feel like things could be working better, but you just don't know how, just scrap everything. Just scrap it all. So the first thing we're going to talk about here is looking back. So if we're going to scrap everything that we were already doing previously, I want you then to look back at the week before or weeks before. Because really what we should be doing is tracking what went well, what got done, what didn't get done, and go from there. Because really, if we don't take a look at like the data, which is essentially what your calendar is, information. Just like we look at analytics for anything else, your calendar is data and analytics for you to see what's working and what's not working. You have full control over your calendar. And if you want your life to be a full life with all the things, not just work, then you need to treat your calendar as a form of analytics for yourself. So if you want more information on this, I do offer at least every quarter, if not more often, my Back to Balance workshop where we go dive into this a little deeper. But you're going to want to take a look at what's working and what's not working and how much got done when we look at the business side of things. So you want to look back, and if things are working, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But for things that, could be optimized better, make notes of those things. And the next piece is going to be the second part is when we are planning. So what we want to make sure that we're doing is looking at the non-negotiables. So what that means, and I've referenced this in my podcast episodes, but we want to look at the non-negotiables. So when we go to actually set up our calendar and plan, which is another piece, is we should be setting aside time every week to be planning our calendar for the following week and ongoing after that. Setting a dedicated day, a dedicated time, and make this a recurring meeting with yourself. Essentially is what this is, right? A recurring meeting with yourself to review these analytics. Then, sorry, you can see my ring light, but I couldn't find a great angle right now because I wanted to be close enough that you can read it. So I'm trying different angles. I'll probably use something different next time, but bear with me. So, and then the non-negotiables. So when we look at that is all things your life outside of work. So I'm talking yoga classes or exercise, going to the gym, any you time. If you're a parent, your time with your kids, dinner times, things like that, those things should go in your calendar first. Now, I say this because a lot of times, and what I did for a really long time is I put all the work stuff in first, because somewhere in my brain, I prioritized work over the other things. I always wrote in all my work blocks and all my work things, and then tried to plan my life around my work. I want you to reverse engineer that. You put in the other stuff first and then build your work around it. This is the first step to getting closer to being that whole, well-rounded life that you desire. Because if you're here, it's because your calendar has not only exploded, but it's not reflecting, your life isn't reflecting what you want. And the first step is through your calendar. So make your calendar work for you. So put in those things first, then your work stuff. If you can't get around that, that's fine. Do a skeleton of your work stuff first, and then, but the idea is to fill in, you really want to fill in with what you prioritize first, which should be you, and then obviously family, and then work stuff, and then anything else. Making sure that we put in like entertainment, like maybe it's a date night, maybe it's a Sunday fun day with the kids. Put those things in first, and then plan everything else around it. Now, to tag on to the planning part, the other piece, which is maybe why your calendar is exploding, is going to be, I'm just going to call it the the in-betweens. What does that mean? It's the stuff that we tend to not put in our calendars. Okay, this is, so if we think about, if we travel a lot for work, or we have meetings, or maybe we are hybrid and we do some stuff at home or in the office, and then we go out to different clients or what have you, whatever. We kind of, at this day and age, it's kind of a hybrid, I think, across the board for almost every job and for entrepreneurship. So this is commute times. This is prep time before you see a client. This is documentation time. This is meal prep time. This is these are things that tend not to get in our calendars. And when they don't get in our calendars are actually not a reflection of how we're using our time, is it? Because if I'm putting in, I'm going to use my favorite client. We're gonna use Miss Betty. Okay. So if I have Betty, let's say I see her at 10 a.m., right? I have to go see her. Let's say I'm doing a home visit. I'm going to go to her house, right? I'm going to go see Betty at 10 o'clock. That's probably one version a long time ago. That's all I would have in my calendar. Not the fact that it takes me 30 minutes to get to Betty's house. So I now have to have a block, a 30-minute before and after. But because I don't have that block, I don't have time to eat breakfast. Say I eat breakfast that late. But now I don't have time to eat breakfast because I thought I was going to eat breakfast, but I didn't put in my calendar that I had this commute time. So had I done that, now I'm going hungry to Betty's. So I'm a little hangry while I'm there. And then I still can't eat because now I have this 30-minute commute to, say, back to the office. And now it's, I don't know, let's say it's hour. So now it's afternoon, and now I just skip breakfast entirely. Okay, so this is a very oversimplified, dramatic example, but you get the idea. So the in-betweens are all the things that we tend to not put in our calendars. And if you need to put in your calendar, do you feed yourself? Do that. Because we essentially do, right? Because there should be a lunch break. Put a lunch in there, and then put block time either before and or after that for movement, or for just to take a 5-minute walk or whatever. So these are the in-between things that should be getting into our calendars anyway. So again, these are just 3 simple things, but they make a big difference on how we want our calendars to reflect our lives. So take the data and the information from what's working and what's not working, implement it into the next week. So when we go to plan, so these two are planning, we plan that what we're prioritizing first goes in our calendar first. Then we make sure that we're including these in-between things, the things we typically won't put in our calendar, those commutes, snacks, meals, time for you, whatever it is, put everything in your calendar. That's key. That's the takeaway. Put everything in your calendar and prioritize what you want first, and then everything else will come. So if you want even more information about this, I invite you to take a look at my Back to Balance workshop. happens every quarter. The biggest one will be the one, of course, at the beginning of the year to set yourself up right, which will be anytime I offer it, you walk away with a 90-day individualized plan for yourself that's already done. And you walk away with that. And if you want to dive in even a little bit further, I do also have my Are You the Bottleneck quiz. And I'll link both of those below. And then, well, thank you for being here. And look out for my next video, and I'll see you next time.